Welcome to this week's edition of The Scots in Us. I'm Camilla Hellman, President of the American Scottish Foundation, and this time of year is one of my favourites. The countdown is on to the Edinburgh Festival. August is approaching, and now is the time to get ready to journey to Edinburgh or to hear all that is news from Edinburgh. The city will be filled with energy as the whole city will become the festival. Plays, music, readings can be found in every tiny corner of cafes, church basements, to wonderful performance spaces. And a must-see is the Edinburgh Royal Military Tattoo. It is such a great spectacle. So let's begin by journeying to Edinburgh Castle as the tattoo prepares to bring us journeys from August 2nd to 24th this year. In addition to visitors from around the world journeying to Edinburgh, artists do too. And the Edinburgh will be filled with artists from France, Germany, Europe, and also the United States. And from New York, we're very proud to work with 59 East 59th Street, who through their wonderful festival, East to Edinburgh, have 16 productions that are making their way to Edinburgh in the coming weeks. Two shows I would like to highlight are in their final week of shows at 59 East 59th Street before going off to Edinburgh. The first is The Things I Did While Waiting for You to Fall Back in Love with Me by award-winning playwright Sarah Hodgwood, a love letter to the humiliating experience of becoming a grown-up and the way grief connects us all. It will then be playing at the Greenside at the Riddles Court during the Fringe from the 2nd to the 10th of August. The second show is Elizabeth I in Her Own Words by Elizabeth Levin. The show follows Elizabeth I, a brilliant and canny stateswoman, politician, ruler, whose own letters provide a captivating peek into her inner thoughts, desires, heartache, fears, and joys. It's intertwined with speeches from Shakespeare. Her letters paint a portrait of a complex and remarkable woman, as we all know. There are a few performances remaining before it opens in Edinburgh, August 2nd to 17th, at the space at Sturgeon Hall at Haldane Theatre. Edinburgh is full of great spaces, and two leading favourites are the Assembly Rooms and the Pleasance. The Assembly Rooms in George Street, right in the heart of Edinburgh, has been described as the jewel of the crown of the Fringe by the Scotsman. The Assembly Rooms hosts three spaces: the music hall, the ballroom, and the drawing room. It really is at the heart of everything and is a spectacular venue to see. And then there is one of our favourites, which is the multi-space of the Pleasance Courtyard, which first opened its doors in 1985. It has gone on to become one of the leading voices in national and international fringe theatre, musicals and contemporary comedy, led by its tireless leader, Anthony Alderton. With multiple stages, it is a great place to choose a show and then enjoy discovering more shows throughout the day. And one artist we met during Tartan Week this year is journeying from New York to Scotland with a show at the Pleasance, and that's Matt Howie. The production is the greatest musical the world has ever seen by Randy Thatcher by Matt Howie. The show will be playing at the Pleasance throughout August from July 31st. Produced by Molly Morris, who previously brought Islander to the stage, I caught up with her the other day to hear all about what it takes to bring a show to the Fringe. And now I'm delighted that we're going to be meeting up with a great friend to the American Scottish Foundation, Molly Morris. Molly is a producer of many musicals and dramatic theatre. And this year, she has a new production on its way to the Fringe. She's one of the producers that's putting together the greatest musical the world has ever seen by Randy Thatcher and Matt Howie. And so Matt Howie's work is in the wonderful hands of Molly. And I'm going to ask you now, Molly, to tell us a little bit about the journey of how this work came to be and for you to be now bringing it to the Edinburgh Fringe.
Great. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for having me talk with you, Camilla. I'm so grateful. So we met Matt a few years ago when he came with his family to the Edinburgh Festival. I think at the time Matt was still in school at Dartmouth, but he had just like really started writing music and was beginning to write musicals. And when he came to the Edinburgh Festival, he was really inspired by the creative energy that was surrounding him and how much there was to see and do. And I think he left knowing that when he came back, he wanted it to be with a show. And what he did was really clever, which was he knew that it would be hard to take a full-scale musical and a large cast, but he wanted to do something really creative where he could showcase his work as a writer. So he wrote the greatest musical the world has ever seen by Randy Thatcher by Matt Howie, which tells the story of a young man who's written a musical, but he's really, really shy for the world to see it. So he does it in his bedroom for an invisible audience, which of course is us, but it's really clever and beautiful and is a great story about growing up and finding yourself in the world.
So Molly, this piece was also introduced to us during Tartan Week when the Fringe did a special event, and one of our team saw this and absolutely loved it and thought that Matt was so charming and charismatic and came across so well. And so can we take a moment to listen to one of the pieces? What would you suggest? I think you said that you thought we should start with For Once.
For Once, yes.
All right, so let's begin with an introduction to Matt's work with For Once.
I really think I'd like to fall in love. I really think I'd like to fall for someone, to fly through the air, the wind in my hair, with someone who cares. Even if it's only for a week, at least then I'd get to know that feeling, to fall fast asleep, excited to dream with her next to me. And every night when I catastrophize, I'll find peace of mind. When she holds me, I'll pray that the seconds pass slowly, a moment's a little less lonely. That really doesn't sound bad. Then she'll kiss me start to feel like I'm enough. This calmness in my head I've only dreamt of. I'll find something real, fall head over heels, whatever that means. I'll find a bit of comfort in her eyes then. You know, everything about her sounds exciting. The day that we meet, where we're swept off our feet and she never leaves. And every night when I catastrophize, I'll find peace of mind. When she holds me, I'll pray that the seconds pass slowly, a moment's a little less lonely, and that really doesn't sound bad. Then she'll kiss me when she takes me home to her family, pretend that I really like fishing, just to win over her dad, to feel that special to someone for once in my life. Falling in love sounds nice.
So Molly, this piece of work will be going to the Pleasance, which is a wonderful showcase for so many new pieces of work. The Pleasance Courtyard is run by Anthony Alderton, who is passionate about the theatre and really curates and puts together a great package. And you've got quite a long run there, haven't you?
Yeah, we'll be there for the full month. Our room that we're performing in is Pleasance 2, which has become a really great venue to see new musicals. So we're really excited about that. The Pleasance has incredible energy and a great sense of discovery and new people who are being very, very creative.
Well, he also, what's so wonderful about the Pleasance is he really takes time to work with people to bring on shows that he believes in, not just during the Fringe time, but beforehand down in London with their dinner theatre and everything. But the so the Pleasance will be at the Courtyard, and that really is an opportunity for people to see lots of different work. So they can book to see Matt, and then they can hang out there, and that really goes to your other hat. Going to the Fringe is a bit overwhelming, and you identified that with your other business that you do with Chris Crouch. Could you tell us a bit about that? Because I think the whole experience of the Fringe is so important to understand.
So I've gone to the Edinburgh Festival every year since 2005, and I just thought it was the most astounding thing that I had ever experienced. And I knew right away that I had to go back. So for a while I went by myself, and then Chris, who I have been friends with for over 20 years now, we started going as our annual favorite trip. And a funny thing started happening a few years ago, which is that people started coming to us and saying, "You go to the Edinburgh Festival every year. I've always wanted to go, but it's so overwhelming. How do you know what to see and what to do and how to get around?" And we started realizing that maybe there was an opportunity to help people plan their trips to the Fringe. So in 2019, which was not ideal timing, we started Ghostlight Global. We started a company to kind of curate travel bespoke for people who want to go. We help kind of talk through the things that you want to get out of your trip, whether you just want to do the Fringe or whether you want to take some day trips or whether you want to also have a culinary adventure or whatever it is that you want to get out of it. We kind of help you have your perfect trip.
I think that the big thing is, which I got wrong, for instance, there are two Pleasance. There's the Pleasance that's done by Hotel de Mer, and there's the Pleasance Courtyard, and they're a good hike, but you're not getting a cab and you're not getting a bus, and you're going to have to walk, because
Yeah.
the thing about Edinburgh during the Fringe in August is it's busy, and you've got to have some good shoes with you, ready to handle cobblestones. And so it is good to have someone like you and Chris who can help you navigate and sort out what you do. If you plan it, it's fabulous. It's so easy. And Edinburgh
Yeah.
really has developed, hasn't it? Look at George Street now. There's the check-ins are there, the food's there, they've made it walkway. It's fantastic.
Over the last few years, I think Edinburgh has become more and more of a really world-class food city, and I think some of the best cocktail lounges that I've been to are in Edinburgh now. They're starting to have this really incredible cocktail scene that's really fun. There's a lot to do.
I know, and you can go from dawn to dusk,
You can
and
go
midnight and on. So going back to this wonderful work of Matt's, I was thinking that we ought to take another listen to one of the works. And I was thinking if we could listen to Heart of Gold now.
Yes, excellent.
If the stars start falling and the sun goes cold, we can light a candle to guide us home. And when our legs get weary and our minds grow old, I will find my comfort in your heart of gold. I had felt broken for so long, when like an angel you came along. In your eyes I saw a light, and for the first time in a while I felt alright. I held on and prayed that you'd stay, and I thank God that you felt the same. And if the stars start falling and the sun goes cold, we can light a candle to guide us home. And when our legs get weary and our minds grow old, I will find my comfort in your heart of gold. Grass under stars at night we lay, head on my chest as streetlights fade. Voices call but here we'll stay, as I brush away the hair that hides your face. Winter came and you kept me warm, and a hurricane will weather the storm. And if the stars start falling and the sun goes cold, we can light a candle to guide us home. And when our legs get weary and our minds grow old, I will find my comfort in your heart of gold. I live with this sickness that hides in my soul, but you help me keep it all under control. You've took the good in me, learn how to grow. And if ever you find yourself lost on your own, the ground starts to shake and the air gets too cold, I'll shine a light out to guide your way home. If the stars start falling and the sun goes cold, we can light a candle to guide us home. And when our legs get weary and our minds grow old, I will find my comfort in your heart of gold. When our legs get weary and we both grow old, I will find my fire in your heart of gold.
Sweet.
So Molly, July 31st throughout August, people will be able to come to see Matt at the Pleasance Courtyard stage 2. Look for tickets on the Pleasance website or the Fringe main website. And I think that, and go surfing around through and see what else is going on, but use that as maybe an anchor. It's a great way to start your plan, and make a day of it. And also, where can they find out more about your other hat, Ghostlight? I'd love to share that website with them too.
Sure, that's ghostlightglobal.com.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And you're going to be at the Fringe throughout the month.
We'll be there the whole month.
And I'm sure you're going to be spying for that new production you bring over. You and I first met, which I have to give a shout out to, over Islander, which remains one of my favorite productions because it was so innovative in the way it was put together and done. And that's now touring. So that shows where it goes. It went from Edinburgh, came to the States. We started seeing it. You then grew it, and now it's been touring, and it has the legs and is going forward. So you're going to be keeping your eyes peeled, are you?
I most certainly will.
Oh, good. Well, so please let's catch up. Maybe we can talk to you during August and hear from you of what you're seeing and hearing. Please send Matt our very best. And let's maybe finish off by hearing Homesick. I think that would be a lovely way to finish this episode. So thank you, Molly, for joining us today.
Thank you, Camilla.
In darker days you struggle in the silence. The fear you have has grown into a tyrant. Your courage hides, but always you can find it. You'll always find it. I know at times parts of you feel broken. Your heart is full of poems yet unspoken. Just give it time and different doors will open. They'll always open. You've been homesick all your life. Been waiting for a feeling you can't find. You may not know it, but you'll be fine. It takes rain to love the sun when that thing shines. You've been homesick. I've been fighting with the enemy. One day you'll be afraid of me. I'll fight. I'll fight. And I'm loving what's ahead of me. I'm singing all new melodies. I'm fine. You'll be fine. You've been homesick all your life. Been waiting for a feeling you can't find. You may not know it, but you'll be fine. It takes rain to love the sun when that thing shines. You've been homesick. In darker days you struggled in the silence. The fear you had grew into a tyrant. Your courage hid, but always you did find it. You always found it. I know at times parts of you felt broken. Your heart was full of poems and I spoke them. You gave it time and different doors did open. they always open.
And so as we come to the end of this episode of The Scots in Us, as Molly noted, it's important to plan your day somewhat. Have that comfortable pair of shoes. You're going to walk Edinburgh's hills and cobblestones, so no stilettos, and just go with the flow of it. They're great places to grab something to eat. But if you really want to try a restaurant and have that very special meal, do book it. It does take a little bit of planning, but go to the Edinburgh Fringe box office, to the festival website, and that will help you navigate your way. And then there's lots of things to do outside Edinburgh. Plan a day in Glasgow. The trains are wonderful, and it's 40 minutes and you're there. Or go a little bit east and up the coast and make your way up to Stirling and to Dunfermline, which is the home of Andrew Carnegie. And if a bit further, go up to Dundee and see the wonderful V&A Museum. So much to do. Have a wonderful time.